Okay.
Hey there. I'm here with Jessica today, known as Jess for the Animals on Instagram and many other platforms. And she's an animal rights activist and a loud, powerful voice for animals. Hey, Jess, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm glad
It's
to
a
be talking to
Yeah, I'm glad to talk to you. We talk a lot, and we've known each other for a long time now, like a lot of years through activism, which is so common to meet the people that you wind up being with a lot, being close with, and side by side, these what we do for animals also bonds us and also,
you.
behooves us and brings people into our lives and all that. I know we're so grateful for that.
Yeah.
But you and I just heard about some amazing news. This is literally like breaking news, literally just 5 minutes ago. Our
Mm-mm.
friends at Rev Philly are reporting that the Philadelphia City Council unanimously voted to advance an amended bill that permanently bans all commercial and non-commercial horse-drawn carriages within city limits. The legislation is designed to ensure the practice never returns to the city after the last operating carriage company ceased operations. That was in 2023. So what's your reaction? React to that, Jess. We're very happy. Our emotions in real time. And we want to shout out to Rev Philly and Carriage Horse Freedom.
Oh yeah. My tribe, Rep Philly, you're a part of it. I am so grateful. I can't like I want to cry. This news, the horses needed this so bad. We all needed this so bad, and I'm so happy. I am beyond happy. Oh my God. Finally, all this hard work, all this effort. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Horses will
This
not be will never be on the streets of Philly, and that's amazing. Amazing.
never again. This is history in the making, something that has existed. I mean, obviously, people were riding in horses way
Yeah.
back in the old days, but in Philadelphia, they came back in 1976, and so ever since then, they've been on the streets up until 2023. And so this ban, it is absolutely sets a precedent in so many ways, and just on an emotional level, Jess, I know
Yeah.
there are people crying all over of relief for we don't have to fight this particular fight in
Yeah.
Philadelphia at least. We don't have to fight it and just putting ourselves in the horse's hooves right now. They'll never know that at least they won't be forced to walk on city streets, which is so dangerous
Yeah.
and cruel.
It is. It is
Yeah.
entirely cruel. I can't even believe that it went on for decades and decades. I can't. But, here we are and yay. Oh my
Yes,
God.
we're going to ride high on this win. There have been some other wins recently, but let's talk about some areas where animals are still struggling and suffering
Mm.
and what else is going on in the animal rights world. But if you could just maybe start us out with what's a bit of your activism origin story? How did you become radicalized for animals?
Oh my gosh. So I mean, I'll just start with like 2012 is when I became vegetarian, and it was due to a horrific video that I saw where animals were being skinned alive for fur. I believe it was in China. And that really opened my eyes, and I had no idea. I had no idea. And I was like a puddle of tears, and I just started like going down the rabbit hole without talking to anybody, and I did some research and I found out about the way that animals are horrifically exploited and treated for food. And I was beyond devastated about that. And so shortly after I became vegetarian, I didn't really know about the dairy or the egg industry. And I started doing a little bit of online activism just from what I knew. And I just started sharing. And I had previously been doing online activism for dogs and cats because I did a lot of volunteer work in shelter systems in New Jersey and Massachusetts. So I did a little bit of that, but then I started involving other animals. And then I believe it was 2019 when I was volunteering at a cow sanctuary in Pennsylvania, and I don't know. I decided to join in on the Animal Rights March in New York City with a friend that I only knew from online, and I met him at the Animal Rights March, and we it was amazing. It was such an emotional experience. You might have been there. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
But
probably.
I saw Jamie Logan, I saw Jen. She had her vegan tattooed, not tattooed, like written on her on her head, that was shaved. I was like, who is that? Well, little did I know that I would eventually do activism with her. But yeah, and it was such a beautiful and emotional, and I don't know. From then on, I was like, this is it. I'm 100% going to be vegan, like plant-based vegan, and I am going to use my voice for the animals. I need to do it. And from then on, I just started kind of like just doing my research. I looked up, what organizations are in the tri-state area, and I found New York Animal Save, and I contacted Carol, and I found a couple of other organizations. I don't think it was Animal Activism Mentorship it was called back
Not
then.
back then.
It was that. But it was a couple of others, and one was Revolution Philadelphia. And so I spoke with, I believe it was Ellie, and
Mhm.
I just started getting involved. Oh, Lehigh Valley, the Lehigh Valley
Yeah.
Animal Defenders of Lehigh Valley at the time with Cheryl
Mhm.
Petrillo. So those were like the first few, and my first my first animal rights oh my god event was at the Bacon Fest in the
Oh
Lehigh
my God, that was
Valley.
your first.
And that was just so brutal. Oh my god. Just being around all of those people and the energy, and I kind of really felt it, when they were just mocking us, and we had our
Mm.
signs, and it really was impossible to talk to anybody because they wouldn't listen. Like they just were not having it. So we kind of just stood there with our signs, and we went to like the little pig race that they had, and we were just like sending our love to the pigs. And when we left, I felt so depleted because I was just like, I cannot believe that experience, with all of these
Yeah.
people who just, they were not open to anything. And then it just went on from there.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And you grow and evolve and become a better activist one action at a time, sort of, right? But it's interesting because for me too, those first handful of experiences I'll never forget because
Mm,
I was so new, and you probably felt it, it was all like eye-opening. It was all like, what? There's a community of people standing up for animals, like being vocal and being bold, and like there's it's like, where have you been all my life? And I didn't realize how this was my thing now. Like, I have to do this, and these are my people, and this is where I belong. And
right.
it's that realization on top of, that brings you up, like it makes you high, like, oh, there's others like me, like-minded. But then your vibe goes down when you say, and this is happening to animals. Ooh, and
Mhm.
that's happening to animals, and that's happening. And at the
Yeah.
same time, where you're going down that terrible, horrendous rabbit hole of
Mhm.
animal exploitation, you still have these people around you holding you up and buoying you and just saying, yes, now we can do this. Now we'll go for this.
Mhm.
So
Right.
it's such a juxtaposition.
It is. It's like that contrast, such a like clear contrast between what the reality is and then your people, and they're everything. They are everything. If I did not have, these individuals in my life, I don't know where
Hmm.
I would be right now. I really
Yeah.
don't. I
Yeah.
would be, I don't know. I can't really say because it's very depressing
Well,
when I think of
fortunately, we don't have to
Mhm.
think about how it would be if somehow we were isolated and fighting this on our own. You're right.
Because we have.
It's essential
Yeah.
to better together, with each other. So I know that you and I recently, within the last few months, went together to Wisconsin,
Yeah.
and we were part of the Ridgeland attempted rescue.
Mm.
And there's a lot that has happened since then. There's a lot that was happening before then, and I know you have been in the midst of that, figuring out what's next with people and organizing a little bit, and you showed up at, you went to Marshall. But so let's backtrack just in case there's somebody who is been living under a rock, I don't know how, and doesn't know a little bit. Somewhat
Mhm.
talk about Ridgeland, what we did there, what has been done there, what's happened, what Ridgeland is, what Marshall is, and put it sort of in the context of animal testing and vivisection.
Yeah. I had no idea about Ridgeland Farms until I guess the past few years when Wayne Xiang and DXE had their, rescue efforts at that location. And yeah, when I saw that, when I learned about Ridgeland and the breeding and the testing of those poor beagles, I mean, obviously it's heartbreaking. It's beyond heartbreaking. And I, when I saw the rescue on March 15th,
15th, yeah, I
I
remember.
was laying in bed with my daughter Isabella, who was 8, and it was on my phone, and I was crying. I was crying watching the activists go in there, yeah, and come out with those dogs. And I mean, it was there for the world to see. So we saw everything. We saw Wayne be confronted with the police. We saw him get arrested. We saw people walk out. We saw the sheriff's department there and them taking that poor beagle who was in that crate, grab him from those activists and take her. It just breaks my heart, like thinking about it. Take her and put her back in that car. We saw it all. And from that moment, I said to myself, if I can get involved, I need to get involved because I need to help those babies and just bringing that darkness into, the light, informing people, the public who really had no idea that this exists. I mean, if I didn't know and I'm in the animal rights, sphere, how are other people going to know?
Mm,
So yeah, I said I had to be involved. And
yeah.
how many were there? 20,000 beagles? No, 2,000. I'm sorry about
There's
March.
there's
2,000.
there was 2000.
Yeah, and we went there in April. We got there on April 16th, and I met with my team. Ella Majors was my leader,
Yeah.
and we met with our team on the 17th. We were the red team, learned we were going to be the pink team and be the first in at that location to breach the fence. And we went in there on the 18th, and unfortunately, we were unsuccessful because we were met with security and the sheriff's office department, and later on the SWAT team. And it was quite a traumatic event, I would say, for pretty much everybody who was there. And
Yeah.
we were, I was devastated. I was beyond devastated to just not be able to save anybody. I mean, it was clear when we arrived that that would not really be a possibility.
Mm.
But just to leave there and have experienced all of that and not be able to really help them, really, really, I think
Yeah.
it put me in a really bad state mentally for a bit. But I mean, lo and behold, we have rescues involved, and they were able to negotiate and take most of them out of there.
Yeah.
Now, at this point, I believe it's 1635. Is that right? First 1,500 and then 135. So we still have 500 and how many? Over 500
Yeah.
in that facility. And we need to get them out. I feel like I cannot rest and leave that behind me until we see those beagles out of there.
Mm.
My heart is still really with them. And,
Yeah.
animal
Yeah.
testing, obviously, it needs to not exist. It needs to cease to exist. But we really need to get those dogs out of that facility.
Yeah. And certainly this has shown a spotlight on vivisection and animal testing, what goes on behind closed doors that everybody needs to know about, and that there's been such a ripple effect from that
Yeah.
nationally, and it started a conversation. And as you're talking about it, I can tell, and me too, I'm reliving such the
Mm,
range of emotion of just like utter despair and sense of
mm,
futility on the day we were there, yet that rose up to elation when we found out that independent rescue organizations were stepping in and that they had already been negotiating, and just the happiness of, okay, there's an
mm,
outcome here. There's an outcome, and that we were part of that. And I went in like you, maybe naively, but
mm,
optimistically, thinking, yeah, we are going to get some dogs. And so, whew,
mm.
the
I
crash when it hit us that that was not going to happen was not easy to
know.
wrap our heads around and process the emotions of that, and somehow make it not get in the way of continuing to fight
Mhm.
until that is done. And so, any other thoughts that you have in hindsight? Because hindsight is 2020. Not that you were a big decision maker. None of us. It was a group effort, but there were others who were more in the decision seats. With
Yeah,
that. But
yeah.
anything you learned, like what was the biggest personal as an activist lesson that you
My
take away?
I think I felt a little bit unprepared, and I did, I had some
Okay.
questions going in, and I was like, "How are we really gonna pull this off?" I wasn't sure, but I was like, "I'm doing it." I'm participating, I'm going, I am dedicated, but I think I would definitely want to be more prepared next time, maybe mentally, physically prepared, for whatever the possibilities, are,
Mhm.
because we were not prepared to be bombed with tear gas. That would have been really helpful if I had a mask on, maybe, because especially the initial time of being, hit with that, I literally, like we all thought that we were going to die. We just couldn't breathe. And I would have liked to have that preparation, and I would have, liked to have been prepared personally, like
Yeah.
emotionally, for something like that. Um, I would do it again. I mean, I would do it again because I think that what has come out of it, as far as, the public outcry and the learning and the knowledge that people can now abstain from buying products that are tested on beagles and other animals, because they
Right.
know this exists. This is the reality. And, there is something to be said for an action of that magnitude and all eyes being on that at once. And, I would do it again for sure. And
Yeah.
uh, and now we are looking forward to
Yeah.
Marsh and attacking them.
Yeah, let's talk. Yeah, so it's worth the risk. Some things are worth the risk for the animals because the animals
And,
are crying out for help, and it's an emergency. Is what
mm,
we want. The message we want people to get is that, of course, don't put yourself in significant life-threatening harm's way, perhaps, but at the same time, it was a chaotic day. And anybody out there, if you don't know, I mean, you can Google about all of this and sort of follow, the events as they unfolded. It's more than we can talk about here because it was just so much. But I think the message for the general public is, even though it worked out the way it worked out, it was a well organized, strategic
mhm,
action. We don't want folks, and we went in peacefully as a peaceful action, nonviolent action,
mhm,
civil disobedience.
mhm.
And so Marshall is in what's the town in upstate New York?
Is
I
it
forget.
something Rose? I can look it up right now.
It's near, so it's in upstate New
It's
York, and
New York. Yeah.
it's another, the biggest, right? The biggest
It's
in the
cross
US.
country.
Original was maybe the second biggest, and biggest in the country. 20 tens of thousands, I think, of dogs
Yeah,
and pigs and ferrets and
and
cats
cats.
are
Yeah.
trapped in there right now. And so, what currently is the current status of the plan for that you're aware of? Not that you're, yeah, I know you're again
Right.
not
I
running the show, but
Yeah, yeah. So, so I believe we are going to have like monthly protests and, pressuring campaigns for them. So both um, attacking like, the facility, being there as a presence for the dogs and being outspoken, trying to get the community to,
Yeah.
be on our side and to be on the side of the dogs, make bring them to awareness because a lot of people don't even know that that exists and they live there. So, yeah, so we're trying to do that. And at the same time, we are reaching out to Congress people, legislators, whomever we possibly can to implore them to speak against animal testing and to ban this around the world, around the country, and to specifically shut down this place because there was a whistleblower. I don't know how many. I know of one in the past years who has documented cruelty against this facility, Marshall Bio Resources, and these animals. There are over 20,000 beagles, and there are 67,000 animals in total. So the numbers are like unreal. And I can't imagine the suffering. But they also they breed ferrets to sell them in stores. So some of these animals are sold in pet stores. And they have their own like product lines where they have toys and they have different types of like sprays for animals. They have all different types of products that people buy at your local store with their name on it. So they're
Mhm.
really vast. They're pretty much like really ingrained in like the pet,
Oh my
pet
God. Oh,
system. Yeah,
it's so hypocritical.
I
They are doing the worst things to animals ever, and yet they're promoting themselves in products like
mm,
we have animal health in mind, like animal well-being, as if. How about just stop doing, the cruel shit that you're doing, right there. And so um,
yeah,
um, and we want, and again, I'm not a scientist or anything in terms of being able to speak to why it's so unnecessary to test on animals and how animal testing doesn't
mm,
really have enough efficacy. It doesn't translate, it doesn't equate to
I,
the human experience. A dog's experience is different no matter if you give the same chemicals in their eyes that you would
mm,
put in our eyes. It doesn't give you accuracy in terms of
mhm.
answers. And so,
Yeah,
I know that you speak out a lot in your social media about the importance of purchasing cruelty products because if we can work on the consumer end,
yes.
bring this demand down for what they're selling, then you would think that the supply would close down, slow down,
Mm.
shut down. So how can how can folks make sure that they're choosing cruelty-free products, and what does that mean?
Yeah, usually what I recommend is that Cruelty Cutter app.
Mhm.
It's so easy, it's free. You just download it on your phone. And then what you do is when you go to the store, you open it up and it has like a little scanner on it. So you use the little, tag, I'm not sure what that's called, the little, scanning thing on the back of the products.
QR code. The
Sure.
QR code?
Yeah,
No. Oh no, the scanning.
scan thing on the
Sorry,
back of
it's
it.
called something else. Go ahead.
Yeah, so you just use your phone, you put it against that barcode, and it tells you whether it's cruelty free or it's not. And then if it is not, you put that damn thing back on the shelf and you find something that is cruelty free.
Yeah.
So it's so easy and everybody could do it. You don't have to pay for it. You could just keep it right there on your phone. And another thing is to look for the Leaping Bunny. You see
Yeah.
that? So that's PETA approved. Leaping Bunny, they're putting it on so many products. I feel like it's really a thing now. Companies know that people care about animals and they don't want to buy things that are tested on
Right.
them. So a lot of the companies now are evolving and becoming Leaping Bunny certified, changing like their formulas and their actions. So that as well. And I believe that PETA also has a list of
They do.
companies, yeah, that are cruelty free and that aren't. and I'm sharing like crazy in my stories and occasionally online, whatever I share regarding like Ridgeland or Marshall resources, I'm like, please, please, please,
Yeah.
download the Cruelty Cutter app so that people
Yes.
don't participate in this. There is
Yeah.
no reason.
Ban like boycott
Yes.
anybody. We
Hit
that's one way we have a voice. We can vote with our dollars.
Yeah.
Just, and again, these companies unfortunately are not doing it for the ethical reasons, although there are ethical companies. And we would even prefer that folks buy from the ethical companies, the vegan companies, if they, if you can, versus a company that maybe, they have other products that are, but anyway, yes, there's Cruelty Cutter app,
Yeah.
right? Cruelty Cutter app, folks. I'll try to put that in the show notes, as well
Yeah.
as you can go on PETA.org, I guess, and they have a list there as well. And just what products should people check, like to look for? Because it's really every kind of,
Oh my God.
but it's like beauty products, makeup,
Yeah.
lotions, shampoo and conditioners, soaps. What else? Is it also like
Cleaning products,
cleaning products?
kinds of cleaning products,
What about
laundry detergent.
detergent?
Yeah, laundry detergent. They literally put laundry detergent in the mouth. They force it down the mouths of
Yeah,
dogs. I mean, oh my God. Yeah. So laundry detergent is a biggie. Um, yeah, oh my God, I feel like it's so vast. It's like everything, everywhere you look. I am constantly, I've even started talking to my kids about looking at products, looking for the bunny on everything
look for the
because
bunny.
yeah, because it's in almost, I want to say it's in almost all products.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one thing people can do it right away. This is one of these things that you can just stop from this point. Use
Mm,
the app or go online and just plan, and then you get into the habit of using those particular products, and then you don't have to think about it anymore. And certainly another call to action might be to go to these companies' websites or social media and just say, we don't approve of this as well. The
yes.
companies that aren't cruelty free, I should
Right,
say.
right. Well, actually, one of the actions that people have been taking in the Marshall Resources Group is that they've been contacting the companies that like buy products from Marshall. Yeah, the companies like Chewy's, right? Everybody uses
Yeah,
that company, and they buy some of the products from Marshall. So they're people are going online and they're telling them either you stop selling these products or we are not going to buy from you anymore.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that works. It has
Mhm.
worked in the past, at least, when a
Yes.
significant critical mass of people move away from that product, sometimes the companies will listen. So that's why we want to
Yeah.
express that dissatisfaction to them. Is there any other call to action way for people who are listening and want to get involved with the Marshall campaign? Is there a website for that or a group that they can follow?
Yeah, on Signal,
Yeah,
there is a group, and I will just go to it right now. It's the Marshall Bioresources Campaign. So right now we have about 241 members. So please join this effort. Absolutely. The more hands on deck, the better, because this is a monster. This is the largest, like we said, the largest facility in the country. This is monstrous, and they're also located in the UK, and where else? I don't know if that's
somewhere
it, but
else?
they're also located. MBR is also located in the UK. They have
Yes, yeah,
Camp Beagle over there, who they're a
yeah.
constant presence at that facility. So they are no joke. They are not going to fall easily. So we definitely need we need thousands. We need thousands of people on
We need
board.
everybody. We need all hand. We need this. We need this. If you care about dogs, okay, that's a good entrance to this. Cats, ferrets, and pigs, but
Mm,
any animals at all. This
yeah.
is a fight that we might be able to win, even if it may take a while. And anybody can participate, from home. You can participate in things, and you can
But
go in person, and so um, that's what we want to let people know.
mm.
I don't know if you froze for a second there. And also, we want to tell people to follow
Oh,
Wayne
right.
Chung
Also
and to,
savethedogs.io. I believe that's Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh no.
that's still up the website? Yes, of course.
Yeah, yeah, SaveTheDogs.io, that is still up. I believe people are still going there to sign the petition and whatever actions are, um, you know, documented there. I'm not exactly sure, but that's another place. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't looked there in a while, but we want to
Yeah,
direct
me
we
either.
want to direct people there and just follow Wayne Chung and get his Substack newsletter, which is always so helpful, and follow DXC, which is direct action everywhere as well. But as we're talking and wanting to put the animals front and center, as
Mhm.
much as we're the people trying to help them, it's the animals that are the victims, the animals that are suffering, the animals that are oppressed. And I know that's what drives you and
Mhm.
drives me. And so, Jess, what's your message generally, or what do you want to say about animal sentience? Reminding people that animals feel emotions, they're emotional beings,
Mhm.
they suffer, and one of the ways why you think that people, not that they don't care, but they turn away from animal suffering, or they have cognitive dissonance or
Mhm.
apathy. Basically, we get trained not to care because
Yeah, yeah.
they're put on our plates so very early. But anyway, so what's your thoughts on why animal rights is so important and it needs to be the issue that we've all focus on?
Oh my God. I mean, honestly, I feel like you're right. It is so ingrained in us to look away and to not care, to not even like they're not even like the tiniest thought in our minds on a daily basis, in the general public's minds on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And yet we like eat them, wear them, use them, visit venues that use them for entertainment. Like it's all around us. They are all around us. And they're suffering so tremendously. And people don't really know how much they are suffering. I want to believe that if they, like if the majority was really confronted and they actually did not look away, that they would be mortified at what they basically support with their dollar. Multiple times a day on a daily basis in so many different ways because I mean, we're kind people, or, I mean, aren't we? We're compassionate people, or we say we are. And if you are that compassionate person, then you are going to care that other beings are experiencing pain. They're not different from us. They have that ability to feel just as we do. And I don't know. We block it from our minds. And I think we have to just confront that and let that information in and,
Mm.
realize it's so painful. Like it is so painful to know that before I became vegetarian and then vegan, that I was responsible for all of this. I cry on a daily basis just watching everything that's happening to animals, but I literally paid for it myself, years ago. And but we can evolve, like we can change. We're people who have the ability to do that. And so I just call for people to just pull that empathy from yourself and just look at what's in front of you and allow yourself to feel and don't turn away from it, because if you feel it, you can change. You can make those changes that are needed to not be a part of that.
Yeah.
And though everybody else is, you can do something as an individual, and you can refrain from being that person.
Yeah.
And I know I'm literally talking to somebody now who is 69 years old, and he was like, Jessica, I feel so much pain because only a year ago I learned about this, and I made like this epiphany and this connection to what's happening. And he's like dealing with like this real enormous, like suffering
Guilt,
himself, guilt and
regrets,
suffering.
pain.
Yeah. And he's like, I can't, like, it's hard for me to come to terms with. And I totally get that, and he's 69 years old. He's lived decades and decades of, thinking and believing one way, but like connecting and changing his life around because he cares. And, you know,
Yeah.
Anybody can do it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter, your religion, your culture, the traditions that you've had. We all have that ability. And I'm like begging people to please just find that empathy from somewhere.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's absolutely in there. And you know, empathy is a driver of change. It's right, the ability to walk in someone else's shoes and realize, oh, that hurts. If it were me, I'd be hurting. I'd be in
Hmm.
pain. I'd be scared. I'd be confused. And then to sort of say, well, therefore, I will not be the be the be the perpetrator of that directly or indirectly, you know,
Right, right.
in that way. But we want to make sure that people, that empathy and that feeling of pain doesn't shut us down. We want
Hmm.
it to have the opposite effect. We want to feel that, but we want it to marshal us and to electrify us and to compel us, right? And charge us up in that way. So, you
Yeah,
know,
drive us. Hmm.
one example of how animals feel pain is the dairy industry. And if we talk about the dairy industry, from when people think about all the cows in the dairy industry, they don't relate as much. If we said, like, there's one cow, we'll name her Bella.
Hmm.
She's stuck in the dairy industry. What happens to Bella from day one in the dairy industry as a female cow?
Oh my God. So Bella is basically forcibly impregnated or raped, made to become pregnant. She carries her baby for 9 months, the same as a human mother. And then once she gives birth, either the same day or within a 24-hour time frame, her baby is literally taken from her, despite her crying for her baby and trying to fight for her baby, because that's what we do as maternal beings. Her baby is taken away from her, and then she is hooked up to machines so that people can take that milk that she made for her baby, and then she's continually hooked up to these machines. And on a yearly basis, actually less than a year, because usually they just want them to produce milk at these vast amounts. They will impregnate them while they're still, like,
Mm-hmm.
supplying milk. They'll impregnate them, and then they will keep on milking them as they continue with this pregnancy, and then they'll just continue for about 5 to 6 years, I believe, is the general time frame. And then they are so exhausted from going through this process year after year that they are considered like a downed cow, and they are taken, and it's literally, they're like dragged because they cannot even get up anymore. So they're dragged by machinery to like an area where they're going to put them on a truck to become either your burgers or cheap meat. I can't even call it that. I can't. It's like I have such a hard time saying those words because they're not me. They're not that. Those animals are not food. But this is the horrific cycle that dairy cows go through. And I think about Helen, from Uncle Neil's, and she went through this process for so many years, and then she found herself at a wonderful, wonderful place where she is able to be loved and cherished, and has freedom to be who she is. And I shared her story on Facebook, and that story was the story that actually went viral on my Facebook page,
Mm-hmm.
because people saw her and were like, "Oh my God, like, look at her and look at where she is now, and this is what she deserved." That her story touched so many people. And I believe, we as mothers, I'm a mother, I have 3 kids, and I think women and even men can see, beings like, I want to say people because she's like a person to me, like beings like Helen, and just, see what she went through and her life now. And she deserves that. I mean, why everybody
Yeah.
deserves that?
I
Why would
think,
they?
yeah, why participate is if you don't have to, yeah. And I think some of that is there's so many misconceptions or
Mm,
lies, really lies that are told about cows are happy to give milk and
yeah.
they just give milk from day one. People don't even know that that the reason they give milk is because they're pregnant, because they're mammals just like you and I. And I think fighting those misconceptions, is necessary in the process of, again, making the connection and evolving in that way. And so, people will say, "Oh, they're just cows." And even
Mm,
if they're certainly different than humans, but not in all the ways that matter, in that mother cows the same way a human mother bellows, is utterly devastated by her calf being taken.
mhm,
And people have to imagine just how much milk is consumed in our society. Then you think about the sheer volume on the scale of what must be happening behind the scenes to even produce a little smidge of milk. You buy a product and the ingredient is just like milk. It's like point whatever, whatever, whatever on the list of ingredients. Still, an entire cow suffered for that.
mhm.
Multitudes, millions, billions of cows, and died for that to be lit to be a tiny ingredient,
Yeah,
on that list. And so all these things, as they're shocking. They're shocking to think, because we think things are good and going well, and it is shocking and disruptive to see. It's almost like taking a pill. Take the red pill and you'll know the
I
truth. And
know.
once you know, and you can't really unknow it. And so I know for you, Jess, you internalize, I do too, to a
Mhm.
degree, because you talk about it, you internalize the horrors that we know about, and yet we'd rather know than not know. We don't want to be willfully blind,
Yeah.
willfully ignorant. I don't want that either. But how do you manage, or where do you struggle to manage with coping with the secondary trauma and the compassion fatigue, because it hurts,
Yeah.
frankly,
Hmm.
sucks.
It's a, yeah. I really do struggle with this. And I guess it's, I've been doing this like hardcore for, I guess it's over 7 years now. And I have been, I struggle on and off, through the years. And I feel like now is a time where I'm really trying to do my best because it just hits me sometimes. And I think Ridgeland, that experience really just,
Yeah.
hit me hard. And I cry a lot, and I know that crying is necessary and it's healing in itself, just to get all of that out of your system. And then you can kind of like move forward a little bit. But I do that, and I do watch the videos because I share them on my Instagram, especially. Some of them I do share on my Facebook, but I especially share them on my Instagram because the demographic is a little bit different, and there's a lot of sharing going on by others on that platform. And so I experience a lot of trauma from that, and sometimes I feel like my head is going to explode and I don't even know what to do anymore. So I talk to other people because I have to be able to relate to others, during those times. And I am so grateful for, like who I consider my tribe. And I've had lots of people tell me, Jess, maybe you should take a break from social media for a little bit because, I know it affects you really, tremendous, it affects you tremendously, and you need to just take care of yourself. And I'm not somebody who's really going to take a break because I can't. I'm like the animals. I just feel like they need every single person they can possibly, have. And I don't feel like I can do that. I need to do it. So I will continue really just talking to others to express myself and get it out there
Yeah.
and cry and get it out of my system, and then just move forward, for them because I feel like I need to do that. But I mean, I will also have good times. I go out to restaurants once in a while, and have my delicious plant-based meals. And even with my children, we all like love to go out and experience the deliciousness. And I spend
Mhm.
time with my partner. Yeah, and we do our meals together. We do a lot of like Whole Foods meals together,
Mm.
which is great. So I have some of that happiness, and I try to let go of a lot of the heaviness when I'm with them so that I can fully experience a little
Yeah.
bit of joy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Self-care, yeah, it doesn't mean that we stop caring about ourselves or other people. We can hold a big container for love and
Mhm.
balance for ourselves and for others and for the animals,
Right.
as well. So, what you're saying is how you cope is pretty ordinary things, ordinary day-to-day things. We can cope by appreciating the everyday, ordinary, simple things in life, like talking to
Mhm.
people like this, or crying, or emoting it, or getting some therapy, or getting some healing work done for yourself, or and sure, taking breaks, but coming back. That's why always people take a break, come back.
Right.
Please come
Right.
back.
I
Action
know.
is the antidote. Don't take a forever break. We know a lot of activists who've taken a forever break, it would seem. They walked away from activism, and maybe because they didn't have the tools or whatever reasons those are. And that's why we want to encourage people, please get involved in activism, but don't feel like you have to take it on, like take it all on, like,
Mhm.
and live it 24/7,
Right.
in that way. And we can still find joy, and we can still go out in nature. And you mentioned sanctuaries, right?
Sanctuaries, yes. That's
Sanctuaries are for activists, for vegans and activists especially. That's our release valve. That helps us to shift into that state, reminding us, seeing the animals thriving. So is there anything, because I know you volunteer regularly at a sanctuary. I
Mhm.
do as well, and I organize sanctuary days regularly that we invite people to come. What's a sanctuary? What's a farm animal sanctuary? And talk about what the difference is between a sanctuary and other things like petting zoos and
Mhm.
um those kinds of things.
Right, right. So yes, I have been volunteering at the Barnyard Sanctuary. I have to call them out. I'm actually the vice president on the board also. I've been doing that for about 7 years. Yeah. Love like Tamala and all of the animals there. And sanctuaries are so needed and necessary, and they're safe havens for those animals who escape slaughter or are involved in like hoarding situations or just terrible abusive cruelty cases. They are a safe haven to be loved and cared for and nurtured basically for their entire life with no expectations, just with them to be who they are and live in freedom, which is so beautiful. It's
Yeah.
such it's they're my happy place. I call them my happy place because I feel at such peace whenever I'm there. That's probably the one of the only places where I feel such peace. I don't really think there's any other place
I don't think
necessarily. Yeah, yeah.
I don't think so. Yeah, it's one of the places where we can just sort of breathe and stop, for a while, sort of the constant goal oriented, activism is very goal oriented. Go for that outcome. And there we can just sort of pause that for a while. And we certainly encourage people to check out sanctuaries. And if you're not sure if it's really a sanctuary, you can ask one of us and we can tell you for sure. But in general, a sanctuary is defined, and it's an unregulated word. So really anybody can take the word and slap it on to what they do. It doesn't mean they are genuinely a vegan sanctuary, or even the word rescue, I think, is an unregulated word, I think, and people use it. So you have to kind of know that, be a little savvy, or learn to become a little more savvy about that. But sanctuaries, animals are never bred. There's
Hmm.
no animal husbandry. They're never sold. And there's nothing asked of them.
Right.
Literally, instead of, we ask them to serve us all the time, animals serve me, be a commodity for my use. It's the opposite of a sanctuary. We serve them. What can I do for you, dear animal? How can I make you happier? What else do you need? Where else can I, how else can I make your environment a beautiful, loving, welcoming environment? And when you're sick, we'll fix you. We'll take care of you,
Mhm.
so instead of causing the harm. So sanctuaries are just these as close to utopia for animals,
Oh yeah.
as it can
Yeah.
get while we're still in this world.
Yes, yes. I know. Whereas like you were saying, the petting zoos, I mean, they're very profit driven. They do the breeding. They want people to come, pay some money. You're able to pet the dogs or pet the the goats, the sheep, the whomever they have on the premises. And then ultimately, once they are done using them, where do they go? I mean, they're not living their life out in freedom. They're there for people to, use, hang out with, play with, but they don't have their
That's right.
autonomy and
That's
mhm.
right. That's one of the ways, right? So these are most of the time sanctuaries are nonprofits, but there are still nonprofits that still bring in money from using the animals. And it's one of the ways to tell is to question the people. Why do I only see baby animals here? Why do I only see young animals? Where are the seniors? Where are the old animals? If you don't
Mhm.
see an equal amount, that could be certainly a signal or an indicator that that's not their that's not their intention. Their intention is to make money from the backs
Right.
of the animals. So there's so much, and I think for both of us, we discovered the sanctuary community at the same time that we discovered the activism community, and it all goes hand in hand. It all is sort of part of the larger umbrella of animal liberation, that sanctuaries are a part of that, activism is a part of that. And you also have some expertise in guiding people with the health aspects. We're
Mm,
ethical vegans, so we talk about the animals and we make sure people know animals are not food. But what can you say about, because it's a win-win in terms of the health aspects of
yeah.
eating plant-based. And what do you say to people in terms of where they get the protein and the nutrients that are missing, so they think, in vegan, we don't want to say vegan food, we say plant food,
Based food, right.
animal free food, maybe not great, but how do you counsel people around that?
Right. So I actually do have people who reach out to me because they want to be plant-based, and I love that. I welcome that. Reach out to me anytime. I have like a document that I've created that like has a lot of guidance and suggestions and even different swaps that you can use. I love helping people because there is nothing that you cannot get from eating a plant-based diet that you
What?
can get from eating animals.
Shocking.
And yeah, all your protein. Nobody ever died from like protein deficiency. You don't see people who were deficient in protein in the hospital. That just doesn't happen. People are actually getting too much protein. But people are fiber deficient. That is
Yeah.
one thing that is a huge, huge deal. Like the lifestyle medicine physicians talk about that a lot because I would say I believe that the statistic is 97% of people are deficient in protein and in fiber. Sorry. Only
Yep.
3% of the population has enough fiber. You're supposed to be getting at least like 25 grams of fiber per day, and people get about 16 or less because animal products have no fiber.
Zero.
So, zero
People don't
fiber
even think. Zero
product.
fiber in meat, zero fiber in dairy, zero fiber in eggs.
Yeah.
Zero.
Zero.
That's why the most people who are constipated are the ones
Yes.
not eating plants,
Yeah.
eating animals. And the
Yes.
truth statistically is too that people who are on the most high blood pressure medicine in their
Mm.
lives or diabetic,
Type 2 diabetes,
directly related, directly
heart
caused.
disease. Yeah. Heart disease. I mean, people will say stress, of course, plays a role, but the consumption of high saturated fat from animal products and cholesterol is directly related to heart disease. The arteries getting clogged, that's from plaque, that's from cholesterol that in, you don't find cholesterol in plants. You just don't. Yeah, it's
Right.
found in animal products. So Absolutely. I tell everybody you will definitely see an improvement in your health if you, especially if you stick to a whole foods plant-based diet. If you
Mhm.
don't, I mean, to me, I don't care. Eat all the like Gardein burgers or whatever that you want, as long as you are not harming the dog. Why do we keep saying dogs? The
Plus,
the
dogs, cows, they're big grass puppies.
yeah, as long as you're not,
Yeah.
eating other animals.
Yeah.
But
Well,
if you eat a whole
what's
food, Mhm.
go ahead. Yeah. Whole food. That's the
Whole foods plant-based diet, yeah, if you focus
yeah.
on like the veggies and the fruits and the whole grains and the plant proteins like tofu, tempeh, seitan, which is vital wheat gluten, um,
Nuts,
nuts,
seeds, legumes.
yeah, legumes. If you
Mhm.
focus on all of that and your healthy fats like avocados, you also get your healthy fats from nuts and seeds. Like you can't go wrong. There is no way.
Mm-mm.
And you will absolutely, type 2 diabetes is reversible if you change your
Mhm.
diet.
Mhm.
People don't really get that connection, but also like, what is it? Doctors receive only 4 hours of nutrition, I believe,
Right, right.
nutrition uh, coursework, and it's likely not even plant-based nutrition. So the
No.
yeah, yeah. So they will tell
Wow.
you, keep eating a certain way or just take this pill or, but it's not really accurate information for
It's
patients.
probably the way they're eating too, because they're also been indoctrinated and they don't know better. And so, so when you're talking to someone who like who what's the first to get started, like somebody who wants to get started, what would be one thing that you tell them in terms of like I always tell people eat the rainbow.
Right,
Shop
right.
in your produce aisle. Shop mainly and or only in your everything you find in produce aisle is fine. Usually find tofu in the produce aisle. Sometimes it's
Yeah.
located in the and what do you say when people say it's too expensive? So
Oh, see, the thing is, I mean, especially nowadays, I feel that it's very comparable. I do not go in the section where the animal flesh is located. But from what I've heard, it's very comparable. If you're going to get a package of, say, like Beyond Burgers, it's similar to getting, a cut of cow flesh. It's very similar in price. But if you stick to the whole foods, there is nothing cheaper than a can of beans. Like you can get a can of beans for 99 cents or a dollar, and rice. Those are staples for people, even in the poorest of countries. Those are staples. And there is no way that it is more expensive to eat whole foods than to eat a
yeah,
diet
it's
full
just
of
not.
animal
It's just
products.
not.
It's
It's a
not.
misconception. It's an excuse. It's a fallacy.
Yeah.
It's
And
none of that. So
they like to say that like vegans or those who eat plant-based are privileged, and that really, really gets to me because I'm far beyond. I'm not privileged at all in like any sense of the term, and I can afford to eat plants. So, I mean,
yeah.
yeah, there is.
Yeah. It's like it goes back to didn't our parents tell us when we were growing up at some point like eat your veggies? Like there's a reason for that. Like people all of a sudden like it's this radical
Mhm.
extreme thing to start seeing. We're just saying eat only the veggies. Like
Right,
eat
right.
only the plants and the fruits that came from the earth. The killing is absolutely unnecessary and the pendulum has swung so far, but it's so normalized, that it's
Mhm.
effed up. Now you are raising three children. Could we
Yeah.
talk about them or whatever? Because I know you
Oh,
shared you've
sure.
okay, the fact that they're vegan
Yeah.
and so share about that because I'm sure you get a lot of questions from people about that. So what was that process like raising your children vegan when you became vegan, of course, and what do you say to people? What do you teach them and how are they responding to,
Oh
you
my
know,
goodness, Michelle. I have a
yeah.
knock. I have a knock on my door. Is it possible to pause this for a second?
Well, just you can go ahead. I'll talk to the people. She's got, hello, everybody. So Jess will be right back with us. Right now, we are pausing for a commercial break. And the break is please go vegan. If you And if you like this content, please subscribe to my channel here because I would really appreciate if you would subscribe and if you would follow my channel. And Jess, too. Oh, hello. We're,
Talk about kids. They just came
they
home.
just appeared out of, they manifested out of the blue. Hello. Do they want to say hi? They don't have
You
to.
want
Are
to say
they
hi
shy?
to Michelle? You know Michelle. You met her once. Can
But
you?
we're recording this. We are recording this, my friend. Hi.
Hi.
Hi,
Say
you guys. Hi.
hi.
How are you? We were
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
talking. Is there anything you guys want to say about being vegan? And because we were just going to talk about that.
Can
Okay, well
we? No. Okay. They're gonna be shy.
but look how they look so unhealthy though, Jess. Like, what are you doing? They look
Just.
really like emaciated and just no energy.
I know, right? They look miserable.
They look, yeah, so that's a perfect segue.
Kidding. We're kidding. We're kidding.
We're joking, totally joking. You guys look amazing and awesome, and we love it.
Okay. Okay.
That's such funny. That's so funny. They come a knocking. Speaking of your kids, so
Yeah.
what would you like to say about raising vegan kids? Any whatever you'd like to share.
Okay. So I was pretty much like vegetarian. I was between vegetarian and being totally plant-based when I was pregnant.
Mm,
But my kids never ate animals, never. So they've been raised since they were tiny. They went from being breastfed to drinking almond milk. So they
mm.
never like had a bottle of cow's milk or anything like that. And I pretty much would just feed them everything that I was eating. They were eating rice and beans as like little babies, like with their high chairs, in their high chairs, just like taking the food and putting it in their mouth, speak pastas, all kinds of, different plant foods. And they've always loved it. And they've grown up without
That's
any
all
issue.
they knew. That's all they knew. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's all they've ever known. When they were, I want to say when Isabella was a year old and I was going to uh, wean her off the breast and give her the almond milk. The doctor said that she should be having dairy, and I said no.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, and I'm like, it's for ethical reasons, and she is not going to have dairy. So, and he didn't say anything about it after that. But, and yeah, all the doctors know, and I've never had anything negative said about them. They're all healthy, their weights are good, they're smart, they're excelling in school, they're active, everything.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's
And
love. That's lovely.
yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
now they look at ingredients. I talk to them about looking at ingredients on the back of, the products for animal testing, but also for milk or eggs or anything like that, just so that they know what's okay, what we should be eating, what we should not be eating. And yeah,
Yeah.
so
And
that's
people will say that you're imposing your
oh,
ideology or your views on your kids. Well, but that's it's not really that at all. But parenting itself is they don't yet know about
mhm.
the ways of the world and how to take care of them. So you're that's what a
Right.
parent does, teach them, educate them. There's nothing in it that is there. It comes from the assumption that somehow eating plant-based is harmful. And now you're
Yeah.
putting, no, you're teaching, just like you would tell your child that no soda. Let's not have soda. Soda, no good. No good soda. Same thing. Don't smoke.
Right.
We don't
Right.
smoke. Same. It's the same. So
It's
what,
the same
yeah,
thing. I was going to say that we talk a lot about the ethics behind veganism because I'm an ethics girl. People come to veganism for all different reasons, but for me, it was ethics 100%, and my health is kind of like the wonderful side effect of eating plants. But with my three, we do talk a little bit about the health, and I talk to them about the diseases that many other people have because of the way that they eat.
yeah,
And so I do tell them, I hope that they will remain vegan for life. It will destroy me if they ever participate in any kind of animal exploitation. But I also tell them that, like, I'm trying to set them up for a life of health also, because I don't want them to, develop all of these. diseases that the majority has that are diet and lifestyle related, because 80% of chronic disease is diet and lifestyle related. And a lot of my family outside of my little circle, they are obese, they have heart problems, they have all different kinds, they have type 2 diabetes and all different kinds of diseases. And it's all diet. So,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. You're setting them up to succeed in that way. And of course, they can make their own choices, but if I had this education, if I was able to learn this early, if somebody told me and provided that information, then I would have maybe followed that different path as well. I think we're frozen. I
Right.
think we're fro Oh, just gotta wait a second. Are you there, Jess? Are you there?
Okay. Oh my God, I lost you.
No, no, it's okay.
Oh my God.
Did I disappear?
I can't believe it.
Were you talking? That's funny. It's
No,
okay.
no, no. I wasn't talking. It went black.
Oh my
And I was
gosh.
like, oh no, I lost you
It's
completely.
somebody's listening. Well, that's going to be part of the blooper reel. No, I'm just kidding. It's all included, that blooper. That's so funny. Let's talk quickly. So because I wanted to also talk about you are making some amazing content right now, and you sort of
Oh.
evolved into that. So is there anything, in terms of creating animal rights content, vegan content as activism, is there anything about that you want to say in terms of how that evolved, or any tips for folks who may want to follow that as well?
Oh yeah. I feel like I've just been like speaking from the heart and sharing a lot of I've been sharing a
Mhm.
lot of the realities, but then also sharing some of the rescues and the wonderful stories that people really need to see to make some connections. And I think a lot of things, some of the things I've been doing are around collaborations also. So I am now a part of the Vegan Squad coaching community, and such beautiful, amazing, wonderful individuals who are all vegan and trying to help the world evolve. And through collaborations with John Thomas,
Mm,
he's known as a bodybuilding vegan.
yeah.
My 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 platforms have really grown a lot,
Mm,
and I'm so grateful for him because I feel like I'm reaching more people now, and I'm able to kind of just get the message to people who maybe need to see it. And
mm,
I'm just telling everybody it's really difficult to begin. I get it. You're a bundle of nerves because this is new and this is scary, and people are going to come at you and mock you and just come down heavy on you. But think about your why, which is the animals, and that's who I think about all the time. So I have just been trying to push everything out there consistently,
mm,
and I think that the way that Instagram and Facebook, the way that they work is if you just consistently put
right.
things out there, that the algorithm just picks you up and it puts you in the view of many, many people. So, and also I think I've probably gained a couple of thousand people recently just with the Ridgeland
Hmm.
rescue attempt and all of that, because
Yes.
people are really connecting with that story. And
Yeah.
so I've pretty much blown up there as well. But
Yeah.
I think once people connect to you, even when you do share some of the harsh reality and the veganism that people are not familiar with seeing, they kind of stay on because they're learning what you're about. And I've had people reach out to me telling me, Jessica, I've connected because of the dogs, and please, tell me how I can start. I don't know how to start. So I've been emailing many people actually recently on different platforms like TikTok and even LinkedIn a little bit, and on Instagram and Facebook. So I get people who don't have just started following me, who they show up in my other mailbox, not the mailbox where you see all of your usual communication. And then I'm like, oh my God, I had no idea. And they're asking me for information, which is beautiful. So they
Yeah.
are finding the information and just making little connections. And it's like my mission in life. And I just want to reach as many people as possible. Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean that's what makes it worth facing your fears or your doubts,
Hmm.
and putting yourself out there personally, for that reason, for the reason that you do it, and it's and you're right. Facebook and those platforms reward you. It's like self-reinforcing.
Right.
Right? The
They
more you put
do.
out, the more they send it out, the more they feed it out to people,
Yeah.
and it's all matching words, whatever it is, matching keywords, matching interests, matching similar
They
themes and
recommend
interests.
you to people. It's like they recommend
Yeah.
your actual
Yeah.
page to people. Like I get recommendations all the time and I'm like, I have no idea who these people are, but they are recommended to me because of who I follow. And so I think that's how some people have been finding me also, which is it's all
I
so
mean,
interesting. I find it
it's
fascinating.
interesting. There's so many intricacies. Far be it from us to understand it all, but basically, we
Hey.
are we're being curated. Our what we're ingesting is being curated specially for us, so that we want more of it. But
Right.
anyway, a whole thing. We're using this, for the animals. So that's
Yes.
not for any other reason, not ego. Or I'd rather not be on social media at all if it weren't for the animals. I'd rather, who wants to put themselves out there and get the hate storm? Like nobody
I
wants to.
literally said that just a couple of hours ago. I said that to somebody. I was like, if it was not for the animals, you wouldn't see me on social media like this. They are my
Oh,
mission always. And
right.
yeah, and
Yeah.
love me or hate me, I'm for them. I'm for them. So
Yeah. We are
don't kill
just
the messenger. It's for them.
we're the messenger. We're just the messenger,
Yeah.
and we are their mouthpiece because they can speak. They have voices, but they don't speak English. So
Yeah.
we speak
Yeah.
English for them. So tell folks maybe where they can find you, and I'll
Mm.
make sure to put that in the show notes, like how can people follow you and support your work
Oh, thank you.
or reach you?
So I'm pretty much just for the animals everywhere. I
Okay.
changed that probably like a month ago, so everything is the same, streamlined, and it's kind of easy. So my other two pages that I had for health, I'm not really posting on them anymore because I really want to focus on animal rights primarily. And
Mhm.
yeah, so just for the animals on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and LinkedIn and YouTube. It's crazy, but yeah.
Right. All the places. All the places. Oh, it's great, Jess. It's great to see how you've really evolved and found your way and your voice, in this. And it's such an honor for me to be able to be side by side, act in our activism for the animals. Do you have any sort of final message, especially maybe for newbie activists or newbie vegans or just anything? Is there anything we missed?
Oh, I just want people to know that if you are newly vegan or really want to be a voice, like there's a tribe waiting for you. Your people are waiting for you, and please just get yourself out there a little bit. Like find your tribe. Like everybody has to do it. You know, do a little bit of research and you will find your people and then just stick by them. And your voice is so needed for the animals. They need every single solitary individual possible. So try and just have them in your mind always, and it'll come. It might take a little bit of time, but I believe in people, especially people who want to, bring goodness into the world and bring peace and end this violence. We have to do it. So let's do it.
Absolutely. There's a place for everyone in
Yeah.
in this movement to be part of something larger for the animals. So my final message is let's remember that every choice we make can be a step toward animal liberation, and that
Mm,
our actions have the power to challenge the status quo and redefine our relationship with all sentient beings. By standing up for animal rights, we are not only promoting justice and compassion, but also paving the way for a more ethical and sustainable world. So thank you for being part of this crucial conversation, Jess. Together we can create a future where all animals are respected and valued.
oh, thank
So
you so much, Michelle. Love you.
thank
You're
you.
awesome.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yay. Go vegan, everyone.
Yes.
Woohoo.